Hi, I'm Aileen. Welcome back to my channel. This is Homeschool with the Clarks. Today I want to chat about Beyond the Page level 7 to 9, specifically their language arts. This is the second time that I am using the level 7 to 9 curriculum, and I thought I would just show you the books, chat about it a little bit, and give you a flip through of one of the units. I have my hodgepodge of books and they're not really in order, so I'm just going to go through them and show them to you. So we have Hot on the Trail in Ancient Egypt, Iggy's House, Poppy, Tornado, Punctuation Celebration, Charlotte's Web, The Family Under the Bridge, The Whipping Boy, One Day in the Tropical Rainforest, 50 American Heroes, Morning Girl, Alexander Graham Bell, How the Turtle Got Its Shell, and Who Was Helen Keller. There are a few books missing that I could not track down for this video, so I'm just going to tell them to you. They are The Middle Ages, Encounter, Voices in the Park, and Sarah, Plain and Tall. Here is one of the units. Every book, except for a couple that go together, like the turtle book goes with Tornado. Most of them are separate though, has a unit like this, okay? Each unit is supposed to last about 3 weeks, and they don't use grades. This one is ages 7 to 9. They say it's for about 3rd grade or an advanced 2nd grader. I am using it with my 3rd grader this year. And they do also offer science, social studies, and math, but we only use them for language arts. But if you look on the back, you can see that they do align their science and social studies with their language arts books if you are using the whole kit. Okay, so we're going to flip the camera around and take a look through this curriculum so you can see. I do just want to mention though that, well, first of all, I really love this curriculum. I think it's wonderful. I love the book choices. My kid has really enjoyed it. There were some books she loved more than others. Obviously, that's normal. Some books she was really looking forward to, like Charlotte's Web and The Family Under the Bridge. And they've been wonderful. This is an all-inclusive language arts curriculum. They cover literature, obviously, cover grammar, they cover writing comprehension. They also do a really great job of incorporating like crafts and more artsy type projects. Now that is not for every child. The child that did this curriculum with me years ago is not an arts and crafts kid. And so I learned that we just skip those. It's okay. It's enrichment. It's okay if he doesn't want to make the rain stick. It's really okay. So that's one thing that I do recommend if you decide to use Beyond the Page, whether you're using their language arts or their science or social studies, is to pick and choose what's going to work best for your student and your family. And even that day, you do not have to do everything. Pick what's going to be the most useful to your child. And if it's something that feels repetitive to you or not necessary, give yourself the freedom to skip it, because we make the curriculum work for us. We do not work for the curriculum. And that's something I've really had to learn and remind myself of in this homeschool journey. And I hope that you can enjoy this curriculum, but also know that you don't have to do it all. It is a wonderful menu of options, and you get to choose what you guys are going to do with it. Okay, let's look through a Beyond the Page language arts 7 to 9, which is their 3rd grade level. So we're going to look through one unit. These units are supposed to take about 3 weeks. So this one is One Day in the Tropical Rainforest. They're all laid out the same way, which I appreciate. It shows the table of contents here. It always ends in a final project. It does give you the vocabulary at the beginning so that if you want to use it in some other way, you can. It does say review vocabulary daily to achieve mastery, but they do have usually 1 or 2 days where they work on the vocabulary throughout the unit. So here's the unit review sheet. They have their required books and materials, and it is broken up by lesson. Okay, and then it jumps right into lesson 1. And this level is written to the parent, and so this is for the parent to read. questions to explore, facts and definitions, the skills that they're going to work on, materials you may need. And then it tells you, like, ask your child what he knows about rainforest habits. So it's not habitats. It is not scripted. It gives you an idea of what to say. And then, so usually on the first day, they do not start reading the book. Occasionally they do, but generally speaking, lesson 1, they don't read the book. So lesson 1 is getting familiar with the setting or the time period. So for this one, they're going to learn a little bit about rainforests. Activity 1, they're learning about the setting, which is Venezuela. They're learning about relationships, and they're making a rain stick. A lot of times there will be links to videos that they can view. And then at the end, there's always a conclusion. It says, ask your child to tell you what he learned about the rainforest today. Ask him to explain the difference between temperate rainforests and tropical rainforests. And then here are the definitions. Here are the directions for the rain stick. Since that is activity 3, there aren't any other worksheets for this lesson. So then you're going into lesson 2, and it says to let your child look closely at the book and name some animals they recognize. Before your child starts reading today, review activities 1 and 3 with her. These activities will be much easier to complete as your child is reading rather than when they are finished. So then we have that they're going to read chapter 1, and it has comprehension questions. Now, for this level, because it is parent-led, they will have the comprehension questions and the answers here. But then if you continue past the activities, it will have a space for them to write down their answers to the comprehension questions. You can do them verbally, or you can have them write in their answers. Units tend to have multiple activities for each lesson, and that can be a bit overwhelming. I like to pick and choose and not do all of them. So activity 1 for lesson 2 is starting an animal chart. Every day you're going to add to the animal chart. They're going to do some vocabulary, learn these vocabulary words. And then they're going to do an activity on daily activities. So let me show you the animal chart. Here is the rainforest animal chart. They often have charts like this that you will add to every day after doing your reading on characters, settings, etc. So just something that you may want to put a flag on for them to go back to every day. More animal charts. And then it does want you to have them track their daily activities, and then they're going to also track the daily activities of the character in the book. And you can see it's per chapter. So again, you're going to want to flag this so that they can come back to it. Here's lesson 3, kind of laid out the same. So it reminds you that they need to add to their daily activity chart and the animals chart. They're going to learn about the character's favorite tree, and then it's going to jump into nouns and adjectives. It does give you 2 different choices here or options for the nouns and adjectives. Here's the activity about the tree, and here's the activity on nouns and adjectives. Lesson 4. Oh, I didn't show you both. Okay, so here is option 1 for the nouns and adjectives. They're going to do some matching and then think of adjectives to describe these nouns, or they can find the author's adjective in the book and then write their own about the noun and then create their own. So it can be simpler or more advanced depending on your student. Okay, lesson 4 is reading chapter 3. It's always broken down the same way, which I like. So today they're going to add to their chart in their daily activities. They're going to be an animal scientist, and they're going to make a new butterfly. They're going to do a craft. Here's their animal scientist page. Okay, lesson 5. They're reading 2 chapters today, chapter 4 and chapter 5. Adding to the chart, learning about relationships and working on plot timelines. Again, there's an option 1 and then an option 2, which is more advanced. So here's the relationships page. talking about how they help or harm each other. Here's the plot timelines. Option 1, they're going to cut out the events and paste them in. And then option 2 is just to have more. Lesson 6 is reading chapter 6, adding to the chart, working on more vocabulary, and learning about the laws of the jungle. So they're going to reread page 40 aloud to you. And then they're going to illustrate 3 examples of the laws of the jungle. So here is the vocabulary page. And that is all for that one. Moving on to lesson 7, they're going to read chapter 7. For the activity, they're going to add to their charts. They're going to dramatize a scene. So they're going to reread some pages, and then they're going to act it out. They're going to go over script writing, which they do in an earlier unit in this level. And they're going to collect some props and act it out. So here's the worksheet for dramatizing a scene. There's option 2. And then it does also have a recipe for making ants on a log. Okay, so now we're on to lesson 8. This one is a 2-day lesson on persuasive writing. So they're going to start with part 1, obviously, organizing ideas. So you're going to be guiding them through this on writing 3 paragraphs, or they have a second more advanced option. Part 2 will be the rough draft. So they'll be organizing their paragraphs and writing their rough draft on day 1. And then day 2, they will edit, use the rubric, and write their final copy. Here's the graphic organizer. The other version of the graphic organizer. Their editing and revising rubric. And now we are back from our pause for a writing assignment to reading. Today they're going to actually read 3 chapters, chapters 8, 9, and 10. They'll add to their chart. They'll learn about metaphors and similes. They'll create a graph and a plot diagram. So here is their animal graph, plot diagram, and we're on to the final project. And this one looks like they're going to get to choose a field guide or a documentary. So here is their field guide. It looks like they get to choose, and so they'll have a rubric for the field guide or the documentary. They are only doing one though, but they get some control. Here's the field guide organizer. And here's the documentary organizer. That is it for language arts level 7 to 9.